felt as if I had just gone to sleep. When I felt somebody kicking me painfully in my side, I opened my eyes, and Mistress Elena stood over me using her feet to kick me in my sore legs that were screaming from sleeping on the ground. "What?" I yelled. "Get up, princess. The household servants start moving at 4 a.m. "What? Why?" I cried, so tired I just wanted to close my eyes. I did. "Up!" she screeched, snatching at my hair. "Ow!" I tried to pull my hair from her hands. "Hey," Dawid said, coming away. He reached for her, grabbing her hand in a crushing grip. She squealed, pulling her hand back. "You're going to pay for that, boy," she said. That got me awake. Dawid was already on thin ice. The last thing I needed was this nerve-wracking troublemaker making trouble for him. "Okay, I'm up. I'm up," she smirked. "Good. I have a list of things for you to do. So hurry up and get dressed. I will meet you in the kitchen in 15 minutes. She was so set on making me suffer that she had forgotten all about her threat she had made to Dawid. I stroked his locks. "Go back to sleep, sweetheart. There's no need of us both suffering." I got in a hot shower to help wake me up. I had only been asleep 1.5 hours. I brushed my teeth. Thanks to Rosa, Dawid and I had the bare essentials, including another dress for me to change up. This one. This one was as big as the other one. Instantly, it fell off my shoulder. I rubbed at my chest. I think this one scratched worse than the other one too. It felt like sackcloth against my skin. That made me think about the prophets. To afflict their beings, they would wear sackcloth. That's how I would look at this. As a matter of fact, that's how I would look at this whole situation. My whole life I've been hearing how spoiled I am and how I'm my daddy's princess. But I had a chance, even if just for a little while, to be normal and to work and to even be a slave. Just wait till I saw Nuria and Stormy again. I would be able to tell them I wore clothes that was little better than rags. I was a slave, I worked, and if Miss Elena had her way, I would have worked real hard before this day was out. Quietly, I left out of the room. The kitchen had begun to wake up. Staff was slowly moving around, beginning to prepare breakfast for Gideon and all his men. I bet it was a lot to cook for so many every day. This was not a home. It was exactly what they called it, an armory. "Morning, Safia." She looked worried. "Did Gideon hurt you?" she asked, wringing her head. "Morning, Ima." I shook my head. "No, he didn't, and I'm sorry I scared you yesterday. I'm just not used to being dealt with like that by a man, you know what I mean?" She nodded. "You're a good girl." She patted my hand. I looked down at her hands, frowning. "Ima, can I look into your eyes really quick?" She hesitated, but then she nodded. I reached up, gently pulling down the bottom of her eyelid, just enough so that I could see underneath her eye. The blood vessels that told me all I needed to know. "Ima, do you have problems with your heart?" I asked her. She looked at me surprised before nodding. "I have severe pain here. Every night I rub it with vapor rub." "Vapor rub?" She placed her hand on her chest. "It's really bad." "Okay, look, I'm going to make you a tea blend. I want you to drink a cup of it every night before you go to bed, okay?" She nodded. "You're a very special girl, Safia. I hate that you have to be here against your will. But in a way, I'm glad. I know it will be hard for you to understand this, but my nephew, he needs... She looked off into the distance. "Something different." Then she looked back at me and smiled. "You know, it was said that my great-grandmother came here from South Africa speaking Hebrew. I sat down at one of the stools at the island. Really? I asked. I knew that some of the Haitians were bruised, but I didn't know about the folks from the other side of the island, the Dominican side. And you are Gideon's mother's sister? She nodded. Our father was half Haitian, half Spanish, and French. She walked back to the stove, picking up a plate and filling it with food before she slid it in front of me. Los tres golpes. Gideon's favorite. I frowned down at it. The eggs I recognized. What is it? I asked. I was a little concerned about the meat. It looked like pork. Eggs, fried cheese, and salami. I shook my head, sliding the plate back to her. I'm sorry, I don't eat pork. She slid it back to me. Neither does Gideon. It's beef. I sighed in relief, and then licked my lips, because in that case, I was starving, and it did smell good. I picked up my fork. There you go, eating again, Elena said, coming into the kitchen. She looked at my hips, shaking her head. You look like you can afford to miss a meal or two. Ouch! I looked down at my hips. I didn't think they were so bad. I mean, yeah, they weren't thin like the sticks Elena called legs, but I like my thighs and my butt. I looked at Ima. She mouthed, she's just jealous. I smiled. I'm glad you're in a good mood. Let's get to work. And then she set out to torture me for the next 8 hours. We started off in the stables, where she instructed the stable manager to show me how to clean out the horse stalls. Oh my goodness, I broke every fingernail I had within 5 minutes. Then she took me to the gym, and I washed towels, scrubbed down weight benches, helped clean the pool. Then I shampooed the carpet of each room on the first and second floor. She didn't let me get into the third floor though. I tried to sit and take a break because my back and my feet hurt so bad I just wanted to cry. But anytime I sat down, Elena would just appear out of nowhere. Lazy slave. You're a lazy slave. That's okay. I have something for you. She handed me a toothbrush, a bucket, a pair of gloves, cleaning solution, and shoved me in the men's bathroom on the main floor. I think I threw up a little bit in my mouth. Ew, it was gross. I pulled my hair up higher on top of my head, put the gloves on, and I got busy. Dang it, let it not be said that Daddy's little princess couldn't step up to the challenge. I came awake with the stretch. Damn, I feel better than I felt in years. Hell, I feel better than I ever felt. I mean, I really, for the first time in a long time, woke up feeling rested. I reached my hand out seeking that soft skin of Sophia. She always smelled like lemon zest or orange peel or some kind of citrus. I reached, but my hand came in contact with a rough, hairy face. Not the smooth skin I was expecting. I opened my eyes and came face to face with Lee. Ow! I yelled, sitting straight up in the bed. He was not alone. Standing around my bed looking down at me as if I was dead or something was Monroe, Lee, who was sitting where Sophia y'all should be laying, Butch, and Jackson, my 3 best friends since I was a kid. Out of all my men, I was closest with them more than any of the others, and they were all staring at me. What the do you want? Damn, I can't even sleep without y'all invading my space. I looked around and frowned at how high the sun was in the sky. Wolf lay on the floor looking at me the same way the jerks did. Dad, why are you still in the bed? Monroe asked. What time is it? Monroe smirked. Damn, she must have put it on you, man. It's 12:30, and you laying there smiling in your sleep. What's wrong with you? In the afternoon, I asked. amazed. "Nah, bruh. In the morning," Jackson said sarcastically, causing Lee Butch and my son to erupt in laughter. "He's up here while the rest of us on the field training and working hard, curled up in his pillow, officio with his new little slave." The fellas erupt with laughter at Lee's words. I scratched my head trying to remember what the hell happened to me. I never slept past 7 in the a.m. I was always the first on the field. Damn, had she put it on me like that? I looked down. I was still in my jeans. It all came back to me then. She had put some kind of spell on me. "Sophia!" I yelled, jumping out the bed. I began to pace. "Man, I think she used some voodoo on me last night." "Teresa!" I yelled for my aunt. If it was some voodoo, my aunt would know it. I dropped the toothbrush out of my hand when I heard my name yelled so loud that the walls shook. I took the gloves off, putting my hand on my chest trying to stop the pounding. The man had just scared the heck out of me. Elena burst into the bathroom. "Come quick. He's mad. If he yells like that, somebody's getting ready to die." She smirked. Together we took off towards Gideon's room. My mind raced. Did he have Daweed? Had he changed his mind about killing him? Then a thunderous "Teresa!" came from the same direction. Ema burst out of the kitchen. She held up her skirt and quickly walked up the stairs. When we entered the room, the sight of him surrounded by his son, his pet, and 3 of his men shirtless, in black jeans, still undone, and that long hair of his kind of going wild all over his shoulders and head, and down his back, brought me up short. He was absolutely beautiful in his anger. "Gideon, what is it?" his aunt asked. "Why are you yelling like that?" He didn't look at anybody but me. "Did you use voodoo on me last night?" He pointed his finger angrily at me. "I don't allow no voodoo in these walls," he growled, reminding me of that animal at his feet. "Voodoo!" I yelled back at him. He couldn't have slapped me and insulted me more. "I don't do no voodoo." I was so mad, I didn't even care that I was risking my life. He looked at his aunt. Her hands were hot. He held up his big hands, and her voice sounded like water, and she said some kind of spell over me. "What spell?" I quoted Matthew 6, verse 25 to 34, "you fool." He pointed at me. "I got your food. Somebody give me a Bible." He looked around at his son and his men. They all shook their heads, patting their pockets as if they was, I don't know, fresh out of Bibles. "Don't none of y'all have a Bible?" he yelled at them. "Do you?" I asked, crossing my arms over my chest. He looked at me with a crazed grin on his face. "Yes, I do. Regardless of what you think of me, I ain't no complete heathen." He stormed in his closet, grabbing his holster off the table as he passed. The sound of things crashing to the ground could be heard. Some stuff came flying out the closet. He came out with a white t-shirt on, and on top of it was his holster with his 2 golden guns, secured underneath his arms, and a triumphant smile on his face. "Aha," he said, opening it. He flipped through some pages. In the Old Testament, then the New, then back to the Old, then back to the New. "What scripture did you say?" he asked. "Matthew 6, verse 25 through 34. He flipped through the book, Old Testament, New, before finally going to the table of contents. His aunt shook her head at him. He turned to the scripture and read it out loud. When he was done, he looked at me puzzled. But her hands were hot. How do you explain that?" he asked his aunt. She looked bored. "She's a healer, Gideon." He snapped his fingers. "Ain't that voodoo?" His aunt exhaled. "Gideon, haven't you ever heard of laying hands on someone and healing them? Mijo, turn to Acts 28, verse 8. I turned to look at Ema, surprised. She smirked at me, as if to say I wasn't the only one here that knew my scriptures. Gideon, after looking at the table of contents, turned to the verse and read it out loud. "And it came to be that the father of Populus lay sick with inflammation and dysentery. Shaul went to him. Having prayed, he laid hands on him and healed him. He looked up at me. Did you pray first? I did. He looked around at his men and his son touching his chest, a smirk coming to his face. Chale! I've been saved! His son and his three friends looked at each other before they erupted in laughter. Monroe fell on the bed, clutching his side. Gideon frowned at them. Oh, Negro, you ain't saved, I told him. He was getting on my nerves. I was tired. I was too tired to be putting up with him making fun of me right now. Yeah, I am. You healed me. I shook my head at him. Remember I told y'all he was a heathen. Mijo, that's not how it works. She can heal an injury, relax a muscle. She can't help you purge your demons. You gotta seek the Father and do that for your own. His aunt told him. He brought his hands back to his chest. You mean they still there? The frown came back on his face. His aunt shook her head and walked out of the room. Elena, who had been looking at him with her mouth open the whole time, followed. I turned to follow. Not so fast, Chica, Gideon said, moving so quickly I was completely unprepared to feel his big arms wrap around my waist. I jumped. You gotta stop doing that. Get used to my touch, he said close to my ear. 'Cause Daddy ain't around to keep you safe no more. It's Gideon. Just Gideon. I shivered. Him speaking so close to my ear and neck caused my stomach to act crazy again. I put my hand on it. The rest of you, get out, he said to his men and his son. Why did you leave my bedroom last night? He asked, looking down at me, his arms still wrapped around my waist. I just didn't have the patience for this right now. It is safe to say I had a horrible morning. After working so hard, I broke all my nails, shoveling up horse poop, cleaning the toilets behind grown men that live like animals. Then on top of all that, being accused of doing voodoo, then having him turn around and make fun of me, I had had enough. Because it's your bed and not mine, I snapped without looking up at him. I stared straight ahead at the wall. No, mi amor, you're wrong. This is your bed now. You sleep where I tell you. I folded my arms across my chest. It made the dress slide down my shoulders. I had been fighting it all day to keep it up. I went to shove it up for the 100th time, but Gideon stopped me. He touched my bare shoulder gently with his fingers. I inhaled sharply. His touch felt like electricity. What has happened to your beautiful skin? He asked. Leaning down, he gently touched his lips to my shoulder, where the dress had braised my skin real good from constantly shoving it back up when it fell down. My breath went somewhere, and my heart started beating so loud I know he heard it. I had never been kissed by a man before. I didn't know what to make of this unwanted feelings he was awakening in me. It's nothing. The dress is just a little rough. My skin will get used to it. I stepped out of his arms. I didn't want him touching me, and I sure didn't want to feel his soft lips against my bruised skin. At least, that's what I told myself. He is a heathen after all. He looked at me, narrowing his eyes. I want you to sleep here, next to me, in that bed. He pointed to his bed, that still bore the imprint of his body. No, I said with my arms still folded. He didn't know what he was dealing with. My father hated when I got in this mood. It was time to introduce Mr. Man to it. No, he asked. At first he looked shocked that I would dare tell him no. Then a frown came over his face, so fierce. If I wasn't so irritated, I might have been scared. I held up my head and rolled my eyes at him. He began angrily speaking in Spanish, so fast, pointing down at the floor. I shook my head. I can't understand you, so don't none of that mean nothing to me. I said, he said in English, you are a slave here, which means I own you. You do what I say. If I say this is where you sleep, then this damn well better be where you sleep. Let me break it down for you, just in case you don't understand. I am your master. Do what I say. I rolled my eyes at him. I had had enough of this master crap. Yah my master. Yehoshua my master. My daddy my master. The last I said rolling my neck the way my daddy hated. You ain't nothing but a Spanish-speaking, Haitian-speaking bully. And if I was a man, I would hit you so hard in your head you will have a knot this big. I stretched my arms as wide as they would go. He stared at me for a minute, and then a grin came on his face. Damn, baby, I don't think such a man exists. His phone beamed from where it sat on the table, next to his watch. He picked it up and looked at a message. Wait here, he pointed at me. Then he went into his bathroom. I heard the water running. Tiredly, I sat down in the chair I had sat in yesterday when he caught me picking out on his food. My feet and body hurt so bad I just wanted to cry. 10 minutes later, he came out the bathroom with his hair pulled back in a ponytail. I want you to stay here in this room and wait for me. When I get back, me and you, we're going to have a soak in that hot tub over there for a while. And then you can use those hands of yours to bathe me like a good slave should. He put his watch on and then set his feet in his boots. See? He asked. I just sat looking at him with my head leaning against my hand while my arm rested on the table. This man was crazy. He turned to leave, the big wolf following behind him. I stopped by the kitchen to get a cup of coffee. I wasn't lying. I felt great. I mean, my body, I felt rejuvenated. Sorry for yelling at you this morning, I told my aunt, reaching around her for coffee. She turned startled eyes to me. What? I asked. She put her hand on her chest. I've never heard you apologize before. She looked at me as if she had never seen me before. I smiled and leaned down and kissed her on the cheek. I guess it's the first time for everything. I grabbed a cookie off the dish she placed on the island and turned to leave. I passed my son sitting on the couch in the sitting room, and he wasn't alone. He sat with his arms around another little girl from the village. I stopped, changed directions, and headed his way. That boy was reckless. The last little girl whose heart he broke, I had to fire because she had gone crazy. Damn boy told the girl he loved her, and once he got what he wanted from her, started flirting with her sister. Monroe! He jumped to his feet, guilty as hell. Yeah, Dad. What you doing, son? He looked down at the girl, who sat staring up at me with wide eyes. I was just talking to Maria. I looked at my watch. Ain't you supposed to be with your teacher right now? He nodded. Then why aren't you there? He opened his mouth to tell me some bullshit. I held up my hand, not wanting to hear it. No, I don't want to hear your excuses. I nodded my head. Get to class. You, I pointed to the girl, get out. Dad, my son said, watching as the girl ran for the front door. I've been trying to get her up here for the longest. Boy, I jumped at him. He took off running. Shaking my head, I continued my journey to the surveillance tower. I don't know what Sophia did with her hands. Damn, it felt amazing. I couldn't wait to get back upstairs so that she could get her hands on me again. And I was well rested, so there would be no falling asleep for me. Not this time, chica. I wanted to taste. Badly. That honey brown shoulder of hers has been driving me crazy, and that ugly dress always just falling right above her plump breast. I took a sip of my coffee and frowned. It was not what my mouth wanted after thinking about Sophia Ya's breast. What do you have for me? I said, emptying my coffee into the garbage can as I entered my security room. Felix sat in front of 8 screens with a pair of headsets on his ear. He looked up when I entered, removing the headsets. He clicked a few buttons. Sophia Ya, Israel, age 28. She's best friends with Lion's wife. Get this, Butter Baby LaRue. I kid you not. Here's her birth certificate. He clicked the button, bringing up an image of a birth certificate on the screen, but I didn't care about that. Instead, I looked at the different pictures he had of Sophia. She was in most of the pictures with an older man that wore a turban. Who is that? I asked, pointing at the screen with my coffee cup. Her dad. It looks like they're real close. Here, take a listen to this. He pushed a few buttons, and the voice of an older man could be heard talking to what I assumed was Lion. Please tell me you found them, he said, tears in his voice. Not yet, sir, Lion told him, his own voice strained. If you can't find my princess, then maybe I need to go to the police. I grinded down on my teeth after hearing him call her that. I didn't even know this man, and already I was extremely jealous of him. She was not his princess. Not anymore. No, Lion said. Don't go to the police. Trust me, I'm going to find them. And when I do, I'm going to kill whoever is responsible for this. You have my word. Then the phone went dead. Now, it wasn't easy tapping into his phone. It was well cryptic. If I didn't know any better, I would think it was some of my own work. Which means that whoever his tech guy is, if he haven't already, he will soon see me watching them. And when he does, you can expect this big fella here to show up at your door. He clicked another button, and the picture of Lion walking close to his brown-haired wife, shielding her from whatever threat can come her way, showed up on the screen. I smiled, balling up my fists. The mug shattered in my hand. Ah, there it is. The hate that I, for the first time in a long time, woke up this afternoon without feeling. Looking at the picture of the man who killed Ralph brought it all back to me. Felix, my brother, I got an open door policy. I'm looking forward to it. I patted him on the back. Good work. He turned and looked up at me, as if I was an alien or something. What the hell was wrong with everybody? On my way back to my room, I placed a call to Senora Bonita. She was the best seamstress on the island. Safia's skin was way too beautiful to be scarred. I took the stairs 3 at a time, feeling like a young boy on his way to get his first taste of woman. I shook my head, opening up my bedroom door. Chica, I called. Safia! No answer. I stood there for a moment, trying to comprehend what was happening here. Had she disobeyed me? A second time? Rage, pure, unadulterated rage shot up through my veins. Nobody disobeyed me and lived to talk about it. It was time for me to teach Miss Safia a very important lesson in obedience.